I know your kind. Last week you loved Baby Doc Duvalier, and look what happened to him. How are you tonight? You sound in a good mood. This is the portion of the show we call the monologue. And I want you to know that none of these jokes will die tonight. They're going to come back as Shirley MacLaine. Well, there's a lot of stuff in the news. Where is Baby Doc Duvalier? Last time I read he was in France someplace. Right. He was deposed, as you know, that dictator, but do not worry. He's going to make the smooth transition to network programming. Look, it wasn't a terrible week for Duvalier. He did win the California lottery. So, am I keeping anybody up? I suppose you're all wondering about who won the election in the Philippines? Just came over the teletype. Yes, the winner is Mayor Richard Daley. Have you been following? I don't know what the hell is going on in the Philippines. I've been following it for 2 days. I drove in today. There were 2 Philippine ballot boxes in my parking spot. Apparently they are. Was there any announcement at all today? Apparently they are still counting the votes in the Philippines. And as Marcos said yesterday, there are 10,000 votes still missing. I know because I cast them myself. Oh, for a moment I felt like the man in the glass booth, but I'm getting better now. Apparently there are, do you know how many islands there are in the Philippines? Literally hundreds and hundreds of islands, and they still are coming in from remote islands. They found one village that's so remote in the Philippines they have never heard of Joan Collins. And speaking of elections, Fidel Castro was, quote unquote, re-elected president of Cuba yesterday. And Castro said, "You will not see any voting fraud in Cuba. You won't see voting." Well, that's... only if you're sure in your heart. Pity you can smell in a minute. You know whose birthday it is today? Thomas Alva Edison's birthday is today. That's right. Probably one of the greatest inventors of all time. Did you know, outside of the electric light bulb and the phonograph, that he once worked, true, on an electric toilet? Edison actually worked. That's true. The electric toilet was not very accessible because every time he went to the bathroom, he had to wear rubber shoes. Anyway, there's some good news and some bad news. The good news is archaeologists, you may have read this, in Egypt found the 3,000-year-old tomb of King Tut's treasurer. True, and the bad news is they found 2 sets of books. Here's an intriguing tidbit of news. Nancy Reagan announced yesterday in the press that when Russian leader Mikhail Gorbachev and his wife visit the United States, I guess they're coming this spring or summer, Nancy is going to take them to a Safeway supermarket. Now, that's an intriguing idea. You see the leader of the Russian people cooling his heels at the checkout stand while the guy is saying, "Hey, Rudy, give me the price check on Campbell's Borscht." I also choreographed this joke. Nancy says she wants to take them to a supermarket to show them how our people live. It'll be Nancy's first trip there, too. Now, Gorbachev, may not understand American packaging. Wait till he gets home with his dozen eggs and finds 12 pair of pantyhose. No, kind of let it bunch up at the end. Now, here's one of the dumb news items of the day, but I suppose it's interesting to some people. Norwegian scientists figured out how to tell boy herrings from girl herrings. Now, I know this does not seem very exciting on the surface, but apparently it's tough to tell them apart. And apparently girl herrings in Tokyo, for some reason, sell for much more money. So they determined a way to tell boy herrings from girl herrings. How do you think they did it?
Please tell us.
What? When they're swimming, the girl herring keeps her head out of the water so it doesn't ruin the hairdo. You would think, wouldn't you, that Norwegian scientists would work on something more important, like how to open a sardine can? But anyway, did you know boy herrings and girl herrings taste exactly the same? Remember, you heard it here, not on Phil Donahue. Okay. Little show business news. Guess who is going to appear on the A-Team? Boy George. Boy George is going to appear on an episode of the A-Team. Wow. Soon we can look forward to seeing Rex Reed on the Delta Force. I love the A-Team. I always enjoy its plot. Some more show business news. Omar Sharif. Did you see that miniseries? He starred in a miniseries called Harem, about a man with 40 wives. That is not a miniseries, that's a nightmare. We have a good show. A gentleman I just met before the show, I've admired for many, many years. He was voted nominated for an Academy Award for his role in Cocoon, Mr. Don Amici. Those of you who are old enough will remember one of his pictures that most people remember. Don Amici played the inventor of the telephone, Alexander Graham Bell. And Don is doing an updated version of that story for television. Now, the big scene, if you remember, is when Alexander Graham Bell is in a lab, right? New version is he yells into the phone and says, "Watson, come here, I need you." And Watson says, "I didn't even know you cared." Updated version. Also, a very amusing songwriter, performer, Mr. Jim Stafford is here. And a young lady whom I have not met yet. She's 16 years old, I believe. Her name is America Morris, and she is on the varsity wrestling team, I believe, of Claremont. Is it Claremont College? Not the girls' wrestling team, on the varsity wrestling team. Yeah, boys. And they're boy herrings and girl herrings. She's on the... Oh. Anyway, that's the lineup, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes.